this. We got this. We got it. We got it.
We got it, brother.
Got the mega powers, brother. Welcome, everybody, to a special bonus feature of Nightlife. I'm Aaron. This is Joel. And you've probably heard us talking about Nightlife and then Knights of Columbus and Knights of the Valley. We've been throwing all these terms around, right?
Yeah.
And now this is our... What was the term you used, Joel?
Midtroduction.
Midtroduction, because it's not quite our introduction. And we're not saying goodbye, so I guess it is a
Absolutely
midtroduction,
not
right?
saying goodbye.
No, we're going to be here forever, actually.
Yes. Yes, we will.
But forever, brother, okay? But anyways, so we thought it'd be a good idea to explain really who we are, not on a personal, but on an organizational level, what we're doing here, how the podcast started, and all those sorts of things. So this is not quite behind the scenes, because we'll probably do like a studio tour and all that. That's true behind the scenes sort of feature at some other point. But this is, again, a mid-troduction. So, Joel, I'm going to try to ask you a few questions, and that'll hopefully have our dear viewers here, which again, thanks for tuning into the podcast, by the way, everyone who's been watching. And if this is your first time seeing us, well, welcome to the show. Hopefully this will explain kind of what we're doing here too. But
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. We're going to explain what's going on here in the most succinct way possible, right?
Yep.
And that'll hopefully explain everything that's going on. So, okay, let's start with probably the easiest question, right?
Okay.
We'll start very simply. What is Nightlife Podcast? I know I'm kind of starting at the end of the chain there,
Okay.
but can we just describe what Nightlife is?
So, Nightlife Podcast, I mean, you and I, we pretty much started this together.
Yes.
Right? So, for those of you that don't know, Aaron, you're the one that came up with the name Nightlife.
Yes, I did.
I want to give credit,
Well, thank you very
absolutely, where
much.
credit is due.
I pulled that one out of thin air. I was very proud of it.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, I had been doing my YouTube stuff for a little while, so I mean, I jumped right on that. And you and I have been in sync pretty much since we met.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We actually haven't known each other all that long, which might be surprising.
We're like the definition of Knights of Columbus brothers.
We really are. Yeah.
But, so Nightlife, we really wanted a decent way to reach out to the younger audience.
Yep.
And even mid-range audience, really. Like that, what would you say, 18 to like 35?
Something like that.
Right in there?
Yeah, something for typically younger men to watch.
Yes.
That is both encouraging, covers aspects of the Catholic faith, but also isn't just like it's not just theology, or it's not like just politics. It's sort of like a lifestyle podcast, for lack of a better term. Something that can be affirming for your faith, something that makes you feel good after you listen to it, but is also real. It's not just like mushy.
Yeah.
But it's also not like, well, I'm going to tell you the news about what's going on in the world. You know, it's not depressing either.
Yeah.
Not that the news is always depressing, but you know what I mean. I'm not here to like rain on anyone's parade, but I'm also not here to like kind of lie and cope about stuff.
No,
it's supposed to make you
very
more of a man. There we go.
Yes, more of a man. Really reaching out to the younger audience and letting them know what Knights of Columbus truly is as well. Because both you and I have just a profound love for what Knights of Columbus actually is.
Yes.
And neither of us feel like it's getting told enough.
Yes. And so Nightlife is, like you said, it's our podcast that helps explain what the Knights of Columbus are doing, but it's also a men's lifestyle podcast. And I believe the way you had worded it, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you said that we're treating the Knights of Columbus like a permanent, unpaid sponsor for the podcast. So so the podcast itself, we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty details here about, we're going to kind of peel back the layers here.
Yes.
But I wanted to start smallest, which is just the podcast itself, right? Which is basically everything you see here, me and Joel, and then any of the guests that we have on.
What you see in frame right now is a very small percentage of what you see.
A small view
of what there
into
actually is.
Broader what Nightlife is.
Yes.
But this is a pretty good, I guess, just introduction to it, mid-troduction, like you were saying.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else you want to talk about Nightlife before we kind of move on and expand out with everything we're doing here? Is there anything about Nightlife you want to say?
I guess the main thing, if we were to crumble it all down into one like term or sentence, we're really reaching out and meeting the men where they are to bring them the message. You know, the best way that you can in today's society.
Absolutely. And this is sort of like the way I view it, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
I'm going a little off script here, so we'll see if this lines up well, but I kind of view it as Nightlife is a way to act sort of like we're your friends in Knights of Columbus, and we can, like, we're not always going to be like necessarily trying to get you into Knights of Columbus per se. Like, if you join, great, we want that. But at the same time, if you're not quite there yet, if you just want to hang out and talk and we have some fun episodes where we just talk about, whatever's
Cars,
on our minds.
whatever.
Yeah, a Cars movie review,
Yes.
or we know we're getting to Star Wars eventually.
Yes,
that
we
kind
are.
of thing. But we're also going to talk about, we do have some theology, and then we had the two wonderful Dominican priests on as our
Yes.
guests recently that were very, again, thank you both for being on the show. Like, that was a great episode. So we're going to kind of look at all different aspects of masculinity and life and that sort of thing. But it's always going to be, hopefully, something that makes you feel better after you listen to it. It's going to be real, and you're going to feel like, you know what, I have something to offer to this world, right?
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it.
An emphasis on real.
Yes.
Being very
real.
It's not any of this, like, oh, I messed up, so now I can just go with my whole life messing up.
Yeah. No,
or like, oh, I messed up, now I'm doomed.
Yes.
It's none of that either.
It's also not I'm just perfect exactly how I am and I need no work and I'm a total head case. Like,
because it just doesn't exist.
No. There's no one so depraved they're doomed.
Exactly.
And there's nobody so perfect that, well, they're perfect, right? We're not getting
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So
we're talking to, again, real men, real faith, real talk. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
We're right here. What you see is what you get, right?
Yes.
And we hope that you enjoy it. So
yeah, so I mean that's I think a really good introduction to what Nightlife podcast and Nightlife media is really all about.
Yes, so that's what we're doing here. So as you've been listening, you've probably gotten this. You probably understand the concept by now. But that's for those of you who maybe need a little bit more information. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And before we move on to kind of getting into more of the organizational things that we're doing, is there anything left you have to talk about Nightlife?
I can't think of anything else with Nightlife media.
All right. Yeah. Well, if you have any questions, obviously you can post in the comments. So if you need to know anything more, you can always ask.
Let us know down below.
Down below, yeah. So there we go. There's Nightlife. Now, the organization that Nightlife is a part of or put on by is Knights of the Valley Group, right?
Yes.
And that name is both very indicative of what it does, but for people who aren't directly involved with it, like if you're on the outside looking in, it might be a little confusing. Like, okay, how does that differ from Knights of Columbus?
Yeah.
Right. So let's start again, just simple, kind of going up the layers here. Yeah. What is Knights of the Valley Group?
Knights of the Valley Group is a group of Knights of Columbus brothers.
Yep.
That really want to help further Knights of Columbus initiatives without being part of the Knights of Columbus, or without acting with Knights of Columbus directly.
Yes.
We'll just say.
We are a companion, or we might say brother organization of the Knights. We're all Knights of Columbus. We're all involved. We're all pretty active of Knights of Columbus, like the general main upper organization.
Yep.
But Knights of the Valley is our own group.
Yes.
It has the exact same values as Knights of Columbus, but it's not the exact same organization. Again, it's related to it, and we work with Knights, but we are doing our own sort of tasks and objectives that are related to what the main organization is doing.
Absolutely.
We're sort of like, now this might be a little bit of a reach here, but I thought it was fun. There's the military, and then there's like distinct units, and then there's like special forces, like they're all doing their thing, It's kind of like that, right?
We're like the special forces.
Yeah, we're the special.
Yes.
Well, I'm just gonna declare that I'm in the Knights of Columbus Spec Ops.
Yeah, we're the Spec Ops.
On one hand, it is sort of accurate, but it's definitely, it sounds like we're really trying to make ourselves sound maybe a little bit more special than we are, but
because I want to be very clear here too that we are not like a Knights of Columbus created group.
No.
As far as Supreme is concerned.
Yes, we were not created by the Knights of Columbus organization. We were created by Knights of Columbus as in individuals in the Knights.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it, really. We all got together, we said, hey, we want to further these missions that Knights of Columbus, that we have our finger on the pulse of, but we also want to, just get the word out a little bit more than what maybe some councils are capable of doing as far as they're concerned. So whether it be different missions, I'm just going to spitball some here, but like the hockey challenge, things that are like fundraising for different organizations.
The Rally of the Valley, too.
Rally of the Valley.
All sorts of other events that we are working on for the future. I mean, the list, give it a few years, it'll be a huge list where we won't even be able to name all off the top of our heads, right?
Yep.
There's a lot that we're involved with that, again, the broader Knights of Columbus organization is involved with in the sense that it's related to what we're doing.
Yes.
But they aren't necessarily putting it on themselves all the time. Again,
Exactly.
it depends on the event.
Yeah,
Obviously.
and there's only so much that any one organization can do,
Yes,
right?
especially in a group like Knights of Columbus, which it's good to remind everyone is separated into various different parishes and separated by states and has
different councils
and technically different countries because we are international too.
Yep.
And so there's worldwide Knights of Columbus, and so this Knights of the Valley is our little regional version of that.
Yes.
While also being outside the main structure of Knights of Columbus, because again, individual knights got together and created, again, a companion organization that is not underneath the umbrella in the sense that we don't like necessarily report directly to Knights of Columbus superiors per se.
Yep.
But given that we're all knights, it's very much a knight-led organization.
Absolutely.
Again, I know it's kind of wordy, but it's the best way to describe it, trust me.
Yeah, it's really to lift up Knights of Columbus, and whether it be recruiting for Knights of Columbus as well. We do want to try to do some of that. Not an ad. But we do believe in what Knights of Columbus is and what it stands for, and I know a lot of us just don't believe that word is getting out enough as to what Knights of Columbus actually does.
Yes, because Knights of Columbus, again, does a lot of amazing things.
Yes.
But as we've talked about, and I believe we've mentioned on the podcast before, that Knights of Columbus, there sometimes is an image problem, which I do think is changing slowly, but we want to be part of this change. Because, as we often talk about, the two things that Knights of Columbus tend to be most known for are the pancake breakfasts and the fish fries. And trust me, they're great. I love a good pancake breakfast.
Yes.
Do not get me wrong, but it's also a disservice to act like those are the only things that Knights of Columbus does.
Yes.
Right? There is so much more that they do that really they need more eyes on, they need more exposure, and really we need to, in some ways, enhance the image of the Knights.
Yeah, because, and the other thing too that, like, and this is something I just thought of off the top of my head, but
Go for it.
A Knights of Columbus mission is a Catholic mission.
Yes.
Right? It's not like Knights of Columbus, that they have their own mission within the church. No.
It all feeds into the broader Catholic Church.
Exactly. A Knights of Columbus mission is a Catholic mission.
Yes.
Knights of the Valley group is here to help the Knights of Columbus with those missions and further those Catholic missions.
Yep.
Right? So that's essentially what we are and what we're here for.
Okay. So I believe, is there anything else we need to kind of clarify? I think we covered all of our bases pretty well there.
Yeah, I think we did.
All right, so I know, again, I'm trying to peel back layers here, and I think we also explained kind of what Knights of Columbus is, with answering Knights of the Valley is, and how that we are, again, separate in that we are not the same organization, but we are connected in the sense that we're doing a lot of the same missions, we have the same goals.
Yes.
But we're, again, much like how there's different units in the military and all that, you're all working for the same thing, but you're doing it in your own way, right? Because you divide, there's the whole combined arms thing. I won't get too deep into military theory, but you get the concept, right?
Yes.
That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
So,
Blessed Michael McGivney, I think, would be proud.
Yes, I certainly hope he would be.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he'll be a saint. Oh, I know he's going to be a saint.
It
just takes a little bit of time.
He's going to be a saint. Yeah.
We'll know this is outdated one day he becomes Saint McGivney. We got to start changing how we refer to him. Right?
Oh,
We're getting so used to saying blessed.
Yeah.
It's like, that'll change, give it time.
Yep, absolutely. But no, Blessed McGivney, I believe, like, for stuff that maybe he couldn't do himself, which there's not a whole lot that he wouldn't have been able to do himself, trust me.
Yes.
But just if he needed a little extra hand, Knights of the Valley group would be a group that he'd go to and ask for a little bit extra help.
Well, that is a good point, because you have to remember that as great of a man as Blessed McGivney was, he was still just one guy. He could do a lot, but there's a reason why he found the Knights of Columbus in the first place. It was because we need to help all these Catholic men. We need to get them into good organizations. We have a good fraternal order of Catholic men. And
patriotism.
Yes, patriotism and all the other great values, which at some point I think we should do a biography episode on him and really dive into all those details, because I know we want to go so in depth into his life right now, but we only have so much time.
I'm holding myself back so much right now.
The short version, just to give you a little teaser, is that again it was 1882, right?
Yes, it was 1882 is when Knights of Columbus was actually founded.
Yes.
In the basement of St. Mary's, they signed the charter.
And St. Mary's in
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Sorry. There you go.
Yep. But he was a son of Irish immigrant Catholics,
And he was himself a priest.
He was. Yep. But there was a lot of persecution of Irish immigrants.
A lot of discrimination at the time.
Yes, a lot of discrimination.
There's a lot of controversy over these sorts of things.
Oh, absolutely.
There was also the anti-Catholic kind of bigotry that was much more ingrained in America, which it's kind of funny to say you don't see that nearly as much now, which partially due to the success of Knights of Columbus, to skip a little ahead there. But again,
you're exactly
right.
Lots
of moving pieces here, but that's the main gist. Is there anything else we should kind of hit on right now? Because I know that...
No, can't think of... unless actually, well, like in 1882, you didn't have two people bringing income into the house.
Yes.
Right? So if the man of the house didn't come home, likelihood of the government coming in and taking the children away from the mother was very likely, because the mother can't provide for the children at that point.
It's obviously a hugely traumatic and very tragic event if that happens.
Yeah, and with that as well, I mean, this is just along with all the other issues, but the likelihood of those children remaining Catholic at that point was pretty slim.
Yes.
Right? So a good family unit is a good foundation for a strong Catholic faith. And Blessed Michael McGivney knew this, and he would go back to the parishes, raise funds to keep these families together. And actually, therefore, Knights of Columbus Insurance was born from that.
Yeah, which is another thing that Knights of Columbus does. Again, insurance, we do... And some of you might be learning that for the first time. Others of you might be saying, oh, that's obvious. Everyone knows that, right? It kind of depends on who you are. But that's the thing, is we do want to highlight that, okay, the Knights have this great, rich history. They do insurance. They do the fish fries, yes, but they also do... many other wonderful events all across the world, because again, it is an international organization now. After its founding in Connecticut since 1882, it has expanded across the whole globe. And it is still a growing organization, too. And this right here is, once again, separate organization, but still a Knight-led organization. So this is sort of like oh boy, I gotta make sure I word this correctly here. We gotta word it right, because we just explained all these things, and I gotta make sure I'm wording it right. But this is a new manifestation of the Knight's mission. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
It's related to it, and there are, again, all the moving pieces that sound a little bit, for lack of a better term, corporate, even though Knights isn't itself a corporation. But you know what I mean. But that's why I want to make sure we were explaining all this to you, because we thought it would be good just to have this as a video that you can, either look at yourself or share with other people in case they're wondering, like, okay, what is this thing? What is that? It's a quick, again, Midtroduction that gives you an overview of what's going on here. And again, Nightlife is, again, a great thing that Knights of the Valley is doing. It wouldn't be possible without Knights of Columbus, and then our help with founding Knights of the Valley group, which is how you get Nightlife. So there we go. We worked up and then we worked back down. Right? Is there Joel, anything else? I'm trying not to step on your toes or anything here. I know we both have a ton. We're both jumping to explain everything at once, but we're trying our best.
The last thing, I mean, if we had nothing else to explain,
I don't think I have anything else. So you just take it, and I'll just watch. I'll let you have it.
The last thing I would like to stress to anybody out there who has either already been part of the Knights of Columbus or is just coming in as well, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I had an issue with so-and-so in Knights of Columbus, right? I hear that all the time. Just like the Catholic faith, the organization itself, or the faith in itself, or the church, is not the problem. Right? You might have issues with people within the church or within an organization. Don't let that give you a bad taste in your mouth for the actual organization or the church. Right? So if you've been a part of Knights of Columbus and had a bad experience and swore it off, I urge you to give it another chance. Find some brothers within the organization that you identify with, and it might even end up being us here, and just, like, you have to be a Knight of Columbus to be a part of Knights of the Valley group, so you might as well give it a shot.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So,
of course, you don't have to be a Knight of Columbus to watch Nightlife. If you just want to start the podcast and that's your little intro, you just want to hang out with us, just hang out. We're happy with that too. Again, like you said, we're trying to meet people where we're at.
Exactly.
Right? Where they're at. There we go. Meet people where they're at.
Carry us in your pocket. But no, I do urge you to give it another shot, and just. Yeah, that's about it as far as that's concerned. I know I'm dragging this on a little bit, but
that's okay.
But I truly do feel like if you give it another shot and give it an honest shot, find some people that you actually can identify with, have a good time with. You never know what's going to come out of that.
Yes, and we'll have. Well, I guess one thing we maybe do want to touch on a little bit more.
Okay.
Because did we talk so too much about like the Rally of the Valley and the Hockey Challenge and what's really going on with those?
I guess
those
we
are some
kind
of
of
our
glazed
bigger.
over it, didn't we?
Those are some of our bigger events. It might be good
Yeah.
just to at the end here just kind of touch on. Okay,
Yeah.
let's start. What is the Hockey Challenge? Just give me a quick little pitch on what it is and how it relates to Knights of the Valley Group.
Sure. Yeah. So the Hockey Challenge is actually a Knights of Columbus initiative. That really no one council. It was such a big, ambitious journey that no one council really wanted to take it on.
Yeah.
So Knights of the Valley Group actually took it on, and we're just expanding it into. Right now, it's North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and I cannot remember what province of Canada, but there's one province of Canada that's involved in it as well.
I would have to assume Manitoba because it's right above
I think
us?
so.
Okay.
I think you're right.
That's
yeah.
my guess. If
just-
I'm wrong, I apologize to the nation of Canada.
And I apologize about my lack of knowledge of geography. But anyway, so yeah, and that's drastically growing as well. So I mean, we could be looking at it being a national thing here in the near future. Have no idea there, but working in conjunction with councils that do want to do it, but maybe don't have the manpower to do it.
Yes.
And just kind of furthering those efforts and making sure that they can happen for the Knights of Columbus. And then Rally the Valley, you mentioned that already. This is kind of, it's going to sound more fun than it was actually intended to, because it actually is more fun than it was actually intended to be.
We're too fun. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We're having too much fun.
Knights of the Valley Group is too much fun. Yes.
That should be like one of our like joke slogans we put
Yeah,
on there.
should
Knights
be.
of the Valley, too much fun?
Yeah, real men, real talk, real fun.
That's so goofy. That's good. I like that. Okay. That should be a shirt.
Yeah, I should.
Okay.
Anyways,
continue.
But no, here in Fargo, we have a place like Top Golf that's called Sweet Shots.
Yep.
Right? And they have been so awesome to work with as far as having a space to have a lot of brother knights get together, listen to a keynote speaker that really brings an absolutely amazing story to us and our Catholic faith. And then afterwards, break bread together, share an awesome meal, and then go hit some golf balls and have some drinks.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a great time.
Good way to bring kind of the whole community out and just get together and mingle.
Yeah, and if people are wondering what Knights of Columbus is all about, it's a great time for them to actually come in and experience what Knights of Columbus actually is. And being part of a brotherhood, you know, and kind of dip your toes in the water per se, you know.
Yes, and so Knights of the Valley Group, again, I think it's actually a very good, the events we just listed here are a very good illustration of how Knights of the Valley helps Knights of Columbus, because like we were talking about, a lot of councils want to do these bigger events, but as we know, a lot of the parish councils tend to be kind of on the smaller side, and unless you live in a really big city, and even then it might be kind of iffy depending on funding and people and timing and all those sorts of things, it can be sometimes difficult to do those bigger events. Obviously Knights are doing them around the world in the country, but we wanted to see if we couldn't help do a little bit more. And so that's why we have this organization that helps Knights do that.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
That's what we're doing. So, like, because for example, in our area, I am sure none of our just local councils would be able to do anything like the Hockey Challenge or anything like the Rally of the Valley.
Yeah.
It's just not possible because of the logistics of it. So if you have this other organization that is able to, be fed into and really can grow and is able to operate again with all, like I said, the exact same broader mission and the same values, but it's also its own entity, we're able to do different things, if that makes sense.
And it allows a lot of small councils to come together and work together.
And participate together.
Yes.
So we're sort of...
We're sort of like the end for them to meet up.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we make a middle ground for that.
Yeah, good middle ground. There we go. That's a good way to put it.
Yep.
Which is why we're doing this mid-introduction.
I was just thinking the same thing.
So I think that's probably the best way. Again, we could go all day about the sort of legalese aspects of it, but you probably don't want to get bored.
We don't want to bore you to death or make you. Well, you might want to fall asleep, but we're not here to make you fall asleep or try not to.
If this helped you nap, though, hey, leave a like.
Yes, exactly.
Leave a like and put a snooze emoji down there if you fell asleep to this. I'm teasing. I mean, if you do, I won't be mad.
I won't be mad either. I'll laugh.
Yeah, it'll be funny. But anyways, I hope that this has been a good sort of introduction to it, or mid-introduction to nightlife, Knights of the Valley, Knights of Columbus, and I guess I know we're all technically under the broad umbrella of the Catholic Church, but maybe we can dive into the more, shall I say, nitty-gritty details of that at a later time, because we probably don't have time to describe 2,000 some odd years of history.
No, we definitely
That's
don't.
a little broad, but you get the idea, right?
Yes.
You get the picture. So,
Yeah.
Joel, are there any closing thoughts? Anything else that you need to get, or anything you want to explain to the?
No, I can't
lovely
think
viewers?
of anything. Just thank you for being here and listening to us ramble on.
Yes,
brothers,
I hope this was still clear, not too rambly, but
Yep.
in a way, it's good that we are. You can see us kind of jumping at like, oh, there is more to explain. You'll learn as you watch the podcast, or as you get involved at the Knights, or if you help out Knights of the Valley group. You'll see there's always something going on. There's always something more to say. You can never really have that definite like, there it is. You know, like that definite period at the end of the sentence. You never really get there because we're always doing something. So hopefully this has been a good, again, mid-introduction.
Yep.
Not to drive that term into the ground, but a good mid-introduction to what we're doing here. So. That's all I got.
That's all we got. So
Okay.
hopefully you'll join us next time for
Yes.
Real Men, Real Talk, and Real Faith.
Yes. Thank you very much. Have a great night. God bless.